Hello friends, today I take up a new topic and the name of this topic is Russian-Ukrainian standoff, role of India, or you can say its implication on India and the world. So friends, my lesson plan includes number 1, why is it in the news? Second, geographical location and economic condition of Ukraine. Third, causes of war between Russia and Ukraine. Fourth, NATO. What is NATO? Why it is in the news? Why it is so much a strong military alliance in the Western Europe? And what about the European Union? And again, comparative military strength of Ukraine and Russia. Again, Indian policy towards Russian-Ukrainian standoff, impact of Russian-Ukrainian tussle on India and the world, and finally conclusion. So friends, I will discuss all these points one by one in detail. If you like my channel, please share and subscribe AJIS Academy on YouTube, and you will find lots of videos covering different topics from Indian history, Constitution of India, Indian geography, Indian economy, general mathematics and reasoning, general science. So just open YouTube by just writing AJIS Academy Indore and then open the playlist. You will get benefit out of these videos. This is free channel. So friends, take benefit out of these lectures, these videos. So now let us start the proceeding. Why is it in the news? Friends, as you know that the war has started between Ukraine and Russia. Now we have information as to how both countries are fighting each other. There is a fight in the air, on the land, casualties on either side are taking place, and so this is serious matter for world peace. So now allegations and counter allegations are going on in media. So full-scale invasion by Russia over Ukraine started and war is going on. Again, the US said that it will continue to supply defensive weapons to Ukraine against Russian invasion. So what you see, NATO and the US force is totally aligned with Ukraine. And these countries are giving moral plus military support to Ukraine to fight against Russia. Again, deployment of US troops to reinforce NATO allies in Eastern Europe, and around 90,000 US force is now being stationed around the border of NATO states. And again, Russia claimed to have destroyed air bases, air defenses in Ukraine. There is information of dog fight between the Russian warplanes and Ukraine warplanes in the air, causing lots of destruction. And again, air defense system of Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, were eliminated it is being claimed by Russia. Ukraine claimed to have downed 5 Russian planes and helicopters in the eastern areas. We have no conclusive proof about all these claims, but they have just made claims or counter claims to get upper hand in the ongoing wars between both countries. Now European Union said that it will hold Russia responsible or accountable for war, and that's why it slapped sanction against Moscow. Again, Japan, Australia also slapped sanction against Moscow. Now Putin said that he was launching military operation to defend separatists in eastern region of Ukraine. According to him, Russia would aim for demilitarization and denazification of Ukraine. And why Vladimir Putin is saying these things? Because it is being perceived in Russia that Ukraine, with the support of NATO forces and the economic support from European Union, it has amassed lots of military arsenals, and so it was not the liking for Russia, and that's why Russia said that it wanted demilitarization and denazification of Ukraine. Friends, as you know that the present incumbent President Zelensky got elected by exhorting the anti-Russian feelings among Ukrainians. And so the public opinion in Ukraine is totally against Russia and its domination. You might be knowing that before 1991, Ukraine was the part of Soviet Union. But after the dissolution of Soviet Union in 1991, Ukraine became independent country. But Ukrainians did not like the Russian domination since its beginning. Earlier, from 1991 onwards, Ukraine adopted the policy of neutrality. But under the pressure of public opinion and because of its economic deterioration, the public of Ukraine wanted to have alliance with European Union and NATO so that they can progress, their economy can prosper. Now, Putin has recognized independence of Ukraine breakaway regions of Donetsk and Lugansk and signed friendship treaty with them. Friends, as you know that the eastern portion of Ukraine is dominated by the Russian ethnic groups, and so these two regions, Donetsk and Lugansk, they declared themselves independent, and Russian government gave recognition and made treaty with both region Donetsk and Lugansk. So this was totally against the spirit of the people of Ukraine who wanted to have a united Ukraine. But friends, as you know that both the region, and these regions are in the eastern portion of Ukraine, and they are dominated by Russian ethnic group, and both the regions and its people do not want to remain with Ukraine. The US announced sanction against Russia and reaffirmed its commitment to support or to provide military assistance to reinforce NATO allies in the Eastern Europe. India has asked all sides to exercise utmost restraint. Now this is the map of, you see, the Ukraine, and its capital is Kyiv. This is the capital, you see. And in its north, it is Belarus. Earlier it was the part of the Soviet Union, and now it is an independent country, Belarus. It is in the north, and Russia is in the north and in the east. And this is the, you see, the border area. Now Russian army has captured Kharkiv. This is an important town of Ukraine. Similarly, the Donetsk in the map, this one, and Luhansk, this one, both the regions which falls in the eastern portion of Ukraine, they have now been declared independent from Ukraine with the support of the Russian army. And Russia made treaty with both the regions. And this positioning of Russia was very much detested or opposed by NATO countries and the US government. Now, in the west, what you see? Poland is here, and Slovakia, and then you see Hungary. So there are three countries, Slovakia, Poland, and Hungary. These three countries are on the western border of Ukraine. Now, in the south, what you see? Romania, then Moldova, and then Odessa. Now it has been captured. Odessa is in Ukraine, and it has been captured now by the Russian forces today. And now this Crimea, earlier it was part of the Ukraine, and in 2014, Russian government captured Crimea, with the result that Russia was removed from group 8 countries in 2017. And so now it is group 7 countries of most developed country of the world. Now friends, you see, this is the Black Sea, and because of the capture of Crimea, Russia has got dominant position in Black Sea area. So what you see, that Slovakia and Romania, all these countries became the member of NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which was formed in 1949. I will discuss it later on. So friends, this is the geographical setting of Ukraine. Ukraine is the second largest country in terms of area in Europe after Russia. Now, geographical location and economic condition of Ukraine. It is necessary to understand the economic and geographical location of Ukraine. And as I have already told you, that second largest country by area in Europe after Russia, and then it borders Russia to the east and northeast. Belarus to the north, Poland, Slovakia and Hungary to the west, Romania and Moldova to the south, and has a coastline along the Sea of Azov and Black Sea. The total area 6,03,628 square kilometer. Population is about 41.2 million and capital is Kyiv. Friends, as you know that when Ukraine became independent from the Soviet Union in 1991, its population happened to be more than 52 million. Now the population has reduced to 41.2 million. What does this indicate? Because the economy, the Ukrainian economy could not support 52 million population because the dependency rate ratio is high. The growth rate is not so much higher, and with the result that most of the people migrated from Ukraine, around 10 million people, I mean 1 crore people migrated to other countries of the world in search of employment, in search of livelihood. So it is one of the poorest country in Europe, and now ethnic composition 77.8% are Ukrainian, 17.3% are Russians, and most of these Russians are living in the eastern side, I mean Donetsk and Luhansk region of Ukraine. Now religion 87% people are believer in Christianity. Again, the present government setup is like unitary presidential republic, and the present president is Volodymyr Zelensky. GDP nominal in 2022 was 204 billion American dollar, and GDP in PPP term, purchasing power parity, it was 622 billion American dollar. Per capita GDP was 14,958 American dollar. As I have already told you that Ukraine got independence after the dissolution of Soviet Union in 1991, and earlier it declared the policy of neutrality vis-a-vis Western country and Russia. But later on, because of the unemployment rate, because of the poverty, because of the inability of its economy to absorb 52 million population, what you see, people wanted, or people forced the government of the day to align with Western countries, particularly European Union and NATO. When you are any government wanted to have relationship with Russia, for example in 2013, that government was overthrown, and the incumbent president had to flee away from Ukraine. So what you see that in Ukraine there is a acute anti-Russian sentiment. Why? Because of two reasons. Number one, they do not want Russian domination. Number two, Russia is itself in the trouble as far as its economy is concerned. Because of the dissolution of Soviet Union, its economy shrank. So it is not in the position to support or to help Ukraine from economic trouble. And that's why Ukrainian want to have alliance with European Union and military alliance with NATO countries in order to have easing out the domination of Russia. But Russia do not like this because of the geopolitical condition. Why? Because Russia thinks that if Ukraine becomes the member of NATO, then its internal security will be jeopardized. And that's why this war broke out. Now, why another cause is that Ukraine has the vast field for cultivation, and because of this it is called the basket of food grains. And since Russia and other countries are very much dependent upon food grains, so Russia do not want that Ukraine should align with Western countries. Now 52% now government debt of Ukraine is around 52% of its nominal GDP. 80% of natural gas supplies are imported from Russia. Ukraine is very much rich in minerals and it has got excellent infrastructure for heavy industries. Now I switch over to another point. What are the causes for the outbreak of war between Ukraine and Russia? Number one, as I have already told you that most of the Ukrainians wants close ties with the European Union and NATO so that they can progress like Western Europe. Second, Russia wants Ukraine to be a neutral state or a satellite state. Because of its proximity, Russia doesn't want that Ukraine should go or to become member of NATO or European Union. While NATO has been consistently increased its membership from 12 to 30, making Slovakia, Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, all these countries were part of the erstwhile Soviet Union, and so Moscow perceived it as a threat to its internal security. Now the present president of Ukraine, as I have already told you, Zelensky, came to power by exhorting anti-Russian sentiments. But Russia doesn't want that Ukraine should behave like an independent country or it should get aligned with the NATO countries or be member of European Union. Secondly, Russia is very much dependent upon food grains of Ukraine. Because I have already told you that Ukraine has vast field of cultivation and it is called the basket of food grains in Europe. And so Russia doesn't want that Ukraine should go into the Western camp. In 2013, the then President Viktor Yanukovych tried to have closer relationship with Russia, and it resulted into agitation for 7 to 9 months, with the result that the president had to flee away, he had to step down, and so we see that nobody or no political leader wants to have any alliance with Russia. Again, in 2014, because of the free policy adopted by Ukrainian leadership, what you see that Russia captured Crimea on the mouth of Black Sea. And so I have already told you that Russia was suspended from Group 8 and now it was removed in 2017 and now Group 8 is now called Group 7. Russia has backed separatist forces in Donbass since 2014, which is still continuing. So friends, I have already discussed about the causes, different causes that led to the war between Russia and Ukraine. Now, since I have alluded so many times the word NATO, it will be worthwhile to discuss about NATO as to what it constitutes. Now, NATO, its full form is North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It was formed in 1949 and its headquarters is at Brussels in Belgium. And earlier, there were only 12 members. Now, it has increased to 30 members in Europe. The Warsaw Pact, after the dissolution of Soviet Union, also dissolved, but the NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, is still a dominant force, a dominant military alliance. And now other members like Bosnia, Herzegovina, Georgia and Ukraine are on the aspiring list to become the part of NATO. What is the purpose of the constitution of NATO? Friends, as you know that NATO was created out of the fear of the communist domination and to contract Warsaw Pact launched by Soviet Union after the end of Second World War in 1945. So you see that earlier only there were 12 members. Its principle is collective security. Under Article 5 of NATO, it is incumbent upon all the members of NATO that if any member of NATO is invaded or attacked by external party, all member countries will repulse the attack. So it is based upon the principle of collective security. So if any member country is attacked by third party, then all the members will try its level best to fight against third party, to repulse the attack. Now, another important point that I have alluded was European Union. So it is necessary to understand as to what constitute European Union. Friends, as you know that it is a political and economic union of 27 countries. Earlier, its original members were only 6. These were Germany, France, Italy, Netherlands, Belgium and Luxembourg. All these countries are in the Western Europe. And so it was founded in 1st November 1993. Its objective is an internal single market, to establish a single internal market through a standardized system of laws that apply to all member countries, where the state has agreed to act as one. There are certain areas over which the member countries have agreed to act upon So the EU aims to ensure the free market, number one, the free movement of people, goods and services, and capital within the internal market of European Union between the members of member countries of European Union. Now its objective is to enact legislation for justice, home affairs, then to maintain common policy on trade, agriculture, fisheries, regional development. And the monetary union was established, and its members are 19 countries. And among these countries, euro currency is now in circulation. So friends, it is a powerful currency now. The total GDP of European Union is around 17 trillion American dollar in 2021. It means that it is second largest economy of the world after the US. The US economy in nominal GDP term is around 21 trillion dollar. Now the third biggest economy is China, whose GDP in nominal terms is around 15 to 16 trillion American dollar. And now the per capita income of member of the European Union is 40,995 American dollar. So in terms of per capita income, you see that this union is one of the richest grouping in the world. Now Britain left the EU at the end of 31st January 2020. It had become the part in 1973. Now it came out from this European Union, and this is called Brexit, British exit. Now I switch over to another point. Comparative military strength of Ukraine and Russia. So available manpower is around 22 million people, and now for Russia is 69 million. Active personals 2 lakhs, and for Russia it is 8,50,000. Reserve personnel 2,50,000 for Ukraine, 2,50,000 for Russia. Paramilitary forces 50,000 for Ukraine, 2,50,000 for Russia. Air power 318 for Ukraine, 4,173 for Russia. Fighter aircraft 32 for Ukraine, 772 for Russia. Helicopters 112 for Ukraine and 1,543 for Russia. Attack helicopters for Ukraine it is 34, for Russia it is 544. Tank strength 2,596 for Ukraine and 12,420 for Russia. Armored vehicles 12,303 for Ukraine, 30,122 for Russia. Self-propelled artillery 1,067 for Ukraine, 6,574 for Russia. Fleet strength 38 for Ukraine and 605 for Russia. Aircraft carrier Ukraine it is 0 and for Russia it is 1. Submarines Ukraine 0 and for Russia it is 70. So what you see, Russian military strength is second in the world after the US. The third military power is China and the fourth military power is India. While Ukrainians are ranked 22. So friends, it is obvious that in case of one-to-one fight between Russia and Ukraine, Russia is a very much dominant power economically and militarily, in air, in naval force, and in terms of army strength. So Ukraine can't stand the onslaught of Russian might for long, provided that it must be supported by NATO countries and the US forces. Now I am going to switch over to another point: Indian policy towards Russian-Ukraine standoff. What should be the policy of India? New Delhi. Now India wants de-escalation of crisis on account of Russia-Ukraine tussle. Number one. Number two, India did not condemn the Russian recognition of two separatist regions of Donetsk and Luhansk. India views escalation of tension along the border of Ukraine with Russia a matter of deep concern, has the potential to undermine peace and security of regions. Now this is the map that I am showing you. This is the Luhansk, the red area, and this is the Donetsk. This is, both these areas declared themselves independent, and these areas, Luhansk and Donetsk, has been given recognition by Russia and made TTP with both the regions. Now friends, as you know that these two regions are dominated by ethnic Russians, and for the last 5-6 years fight is going on between the Ukrainian government and the separatist forces of Luhansk and Donetsk. And now these regions had earlier the 30% of the area they had captured. Now since yesterday, what you see that these areas have now become, or they have themselves declared independent. So the entire area of Luhansk and Donetsk now became independent with the support of the Russian army. A major concern for India is safety and security of around 20,000 students who are studying in Ukraine. And so Government of India issued advisories for safe return of students. Again, India doesn't want to blame any party and just asked all sides to intensify diplomatic efforts to reach an amicable solution. Friends, as you know that India has very important strategic ties with Russia. India depends upon crucial military supplies. 60 to 70% of India's military hardwares are of Russian origin, and that's why the Indian statement did not use the term sovereignty and territorial integrity in the context of Russian-Ukraine standoff and declaration of Luhansk and Donetsk as independent countries supported by the Russian armies. Now when China is on the side of Russia, tense border standoff with China, hobnobbing of Pakistan with Russia by the recent visit of Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan to Moscow, India cannot take clear-cut stand on Russian-Ukraine standoff. Friends, as you know that in 1971, India signed with the Soviet Union peace treaty, whereby it was declared that any attack upon India will be construed as an attack upon Soviet Union. It was signed by the then Congress government in 1971 in the wake of India-Pakistan war, which culminated into the defeat of Pakistan and the creation of Bangladesh. So friends, what you see, that India is very much dependent upon Russia insofar as the military hardware, military supplies are concerned. Secondly, Russia has always supported India on the issue of Kashmir in the United Nations by vetoing the resolution or the proposals of hostile countries like China or Pakistan or the US. So what you see, that now there is often skirmishes on the India-China border, and the rising power of China in the world politics has become a matter of fact. So, and now what you see, that during the course of war, Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan paid a visit to Moscow. So what you see, that now an axis is formed between Soviet Union, China and Pakistan. China is wholeheartedly supporting Russia in this standoff. So what should India do? India should keep non-aligned. Its diplomacy should be at the highest level, whereas it should neither annoy the US nor it should trouble Russia. So India should adopt the policy of non-alignment. Now, impact of Russian-Ukrainian tussle. What will be the impact? Number one, escalating price of petroleum products. Friends, as you know, that the prices of petroleum products reached to 103 American dollar per barrel, and this is the highest since 2014. And now the price rise of petroleum products will have cascading effects upon the Indian economy as well as world economy. Secondly, the Western power termed the action of Russia as blatant violation of international law. Thirdly, why? Because you know, every country has the right to safeguard its territorial integrity and sovereignty. Now what we see, that Russia is very much adamant that Ukraine should not cross over to military bloc, I mean NATO. It should not become the member of NATO or should not be aligned with European Union. So it wants to curtail the independence of Ukraine as far as its free will is concerned, because it perceives that any alliance of Ukraine with NATO or European Union will have great impact upon its internal security. Now, earlier Slovakia, Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, all these members of erstwhile Soviet Union became members of NATO. As I have already told you that its original members were only 12. Now, in these years, with the breakup of Soviet Union, NATO started expanding eastward. And so we find that Romania and other countries that just I have narrated you, they all became the part of NATO. And so Russia thinks that its sovereignty, its internal security will be in jeopardy. So this is the question of differing perceptions by the Western Bloc and Russia. Now the Sensex at the BSE fell by 1700 points once war was declared between Russia and Ukraine. Rupees 51,703 crore were pulled out from Indian equities from January to February by foreign portfolio investments. So they pulled out these rupees, precious investment in Indian economy, around 51,703 crore rupees. Again, rise in crude prices would pose inflationary trend in our economy, and a 10% increase in the crude oil would lead to 0.9% inflation in our economy. Rising oil prices will impact current account deficit, whereas the export will be less and import will be bigger. So we'll have to face the crunch of foreign exchange reserve. Now increase on subsidy on LPG and kerosene, thereby pushing up the subsidy bill. Again, with the sanction slapped by the US, Japan, Australia, European Union, the hardships of the common man in Russia and Ukraine will further increase. Friends, I have already told you that Ukrainian economy was not growing with such a space that it could absorb 52 million people in 1991. So what you see that now its population has decreased and around 10 million people migrated to other countries to eke out livelihood, to search for employment. So what you see that the Ukrainian economy is one of the poorest economy in Europe. Russian asset nosedived, wiping out as much as $259 million in a stock market. The ruble went to a recorded low. Indian rupee also hit 39 paise low once Russia and Ukraine declared war against each other. So now what conclusions I derive from this lecture? Number one, Russian-Ukrainian tussle would cause immense damage to property and manpower on either side. And friends, I have already told you that how much Ukrainians are going through economic hardship for the last 10 years. So their hardship will increase with the outbreak of the standoff or the war between Russia and Ukraine. Again, the war must end immediately because a protracted war may spread to other parts of the world, and this will be again a very ominous development for the world peace. Thirdly, India must trade cautiously without annoying either Russia or the US. Why I am telling you that India is now an emerging power. Now it is the 5th largest economy in the world. in nominal GDP term and third largest economy in PPP, I mean purchasing power parity term. India has been a member of Quad led by the US, and other members are Japan, Australia, and one of its objectives is to contain China in the Indo-Pacific region. So friends, what you see that on the one hand Russia has been the tested friend of India. On the other hand, the reality is that China has emerged as the second superpower in the world, and so it must be contained with the support of other democratic powers like Australia, Japan, the US in Indo-Pacific region. So friends, what you see that both Russia and the US should not be annoyed by India, and so the Indian diplomacy must trade cautiously. So friend, I have discussed in detail the ramification of Russian-Ukraine tussle or standoff. I hope you might have cherished my lecture. If you have any comments, please write down in the comment box. I shall include those suggestions in my next lectures. Thank you very much. Stay fit.